And Joshua the son of Nun sent 2 men secretly from Shittim as spies, saying, Go view the land, especially Jericho. And they went and came into the house of a prostitute whose name was Rahab, and lodged there. And it was told to the king of Jericho, Behold, men of Israel have come here tonight to search out the land. Then the king of Jericho sent to Rahab, saying, Bring out the men who have come to you, who entered your house, for they have come to search out all the land. But the woman had taken the 2 men and hidden them. And she said, True, the men came to me, but I did not know where they were from. And when the gate was about to be closed at dark, the men went out. I do not know where the men went. Pursue them quickly, for you will overtake them. But she had brought them up to the roof, and hid them with the stalks of flax that she had laid in order on the roof. So the men pursued after them on the way to the Jordan, as far as the fords, and the gate was shut as soon as the pursuers had gone out. Before the men lay down, she came up to them on the roof and said to the men, I know that the Lord has given you the land, and that the fear of you has fallen upon us, and that all the inhabitants of the land melt away before you. For we have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea before you when you came out of Egypt, and what you did to the 2 kings of the Amorites who were beyond the Jordan, to Sihon and Og, whom you devoted to destruction. And as soon as we heard it, our hearts melted, for there was no spirit left in any man because of you. For the Lord your God, He is God in the heavens above and on the earth beneath. Now then, please swear to me by the Lord that as I have dealt kindly with you, you also will deal kindly with my father's house, and give me a sure sign that you will save alive my father and mother, my brothers and sisters, and all who belong to them, and deliver our lives from death. And the men said to her, Our life for yours, even to death. If you do not tell this business of ours, when the Lord gives us the land, we will deal kindly and faithfully with you. Then she let them down by a rope through the window, for her house was built into the city wall, so that she lived in the wall. And she said to them, Go into the hills, or the pursuers will encounter you, and hide there 3 days until the pursuers have returned. Then afterward you may go your way. The men said to her, We will be guiltless with respect to this oath of ours that you have made us swear. Behold, when we come into the land, you shall tie the scarlet cord in the window through which you let us down. And you shall gather into your house your father and mother, your brothers, and all your father's household. Then if anyone goes out of the doors of your house into the street, his blood shall be on his own head, and we shall be guiltless. But if a hand is laid on anyone who is with you in the house, his blood shall be on our head. But if you tell this business of ours, then we shall be guiltless with respect to your oath that you have made us swear. Then she said, According to your words, so be it. Then she sent them away, and they departed, and she tied the scarlet cord in the window. They departed and went into the hills and remained there 3 days until the pursuers returned, and the pursuers searched all along the way and found nothing. Then the 2 men returned. They came down from the hills and passed over and came to Joshua the son of Nun, and they told him all that had happened to them. And they said to Joshua, Truly, the Lord has given all the land into our hands, and also all the inhabitants of the land melt away because of us. So I wanted to talk about the passage, and I wanted to make 2 points. The first one is that there are 2 different words in the Hebrew for the name of Rahab. In English it says Rahab, but in the Hebrew there are 2 words. The first word, which you see, that word is used in Job and Psalms and Isaiah, and it means it's a reference to a sea monster, or it's a reference to Israel in the Psalms. The second word is the word that's actually in Rahab. If you look, the second character is different, and the 2 vowels are different. And the reason why I want to mention this is because this is how you connect Scripture to itself. Because of Rahab's courageous choice, she was mentioned in the genealogy in Matthew. She's in the line of the lineage of Jesus. She's also mentioned in the Hebrew faith chapter, where it says, By faith she did not perish with the disobedient because of her friendly welcome of the spies. She's also mentioned in James. There's a reference in James 2:12 21 through 25, and it starts like this. Was not Abraham our father justified by works when he offered up his son Isaac on the altar? You see that faith was active along with his works, and faith was completed by his works. And the scripture was fulfilled that says, Abraham believed God, and it was counted to him as righteousness. And he was called a friend of God. You see that a person is justified by works, and not by faith alone. And in the same way, was not also Rahab the prostitute justified by works when she received the messengers and sent them out another way? The second point I want to make is the reference to Passover. If you remember, these spies are the children of the Israelites that got delivered out of Egypt. They know the story of Passover and how God delivered them from the destroyer. So when they're trying to figure out a way to make a signal to the Israelites, what better way than a reference they're familiar with? So in Exodus, it's actually Exodus 12. I'm going to use the second half of 22 and then verse 23. It says, None of you shall go out of the door of his house until morning, for the Lord will pass through to strike the Egyptians, and when he sees the blood on the lintel and on the 2 doorposts, the Lord will pass over the door and will not allow the destroyer to enter your houses to strike you. So you have these spies trying to figure out a way to give a signal to the rest of the Israelites that Rahab is okay. What better way than use a scarlet cord that reminds them of Passover, and they have to keep their family in that room so that when the Israelites come to Jericho to destroy Jericho, they will pass over her house and she will be saved. So in closing, I wanted to say that Rahab and her people heard the reality of the God of Israel. And Rahab made the courageous choice to go against her people, against the king of Jericho, even the gods of Jericho, to shelter and hide these spies from a foreign land. Her reward? She gets saved, her family gets saved, and because of her courageous choice and her faith, she's mentioned in the New Testament as an example for us. Be blessed.